Are you nervous by any chance? As she looked out the window with a solemn expression, Roderick, misunderstanding her expression, asked in a low voice. You may be nervous because this is an unknown place, but I hope you feel comfortable because this is your home. The tone he used was very cautious. She wanted Isla to feel at ease now that she was home, but she thought that was just her perspective and that her daughter might think differently. Of course, the person in question was not nervous at all, and it was not even an unfamiliar place. I can't even talk about my past life. Isla smiled awkwardly, unable to worry her father, whom she hadn't seen in a long time. No, father. I'm not nervous. I just like it. I wasn't lying. Everything was so good it seemed like a dream. The fact that his biological father, whom he killed with his own hands, was alive before his eyes, and that he would soon be reunited with his mother, whom he longed for so much. It was also nice to be able to see his younger brother, whom he had never seen because he was not born in his previous life. Yes, how lucky. Roderick, who had unthinkingly reached out to caress his daughter's head, saw her bright, shy smile, but stopped, worried that Isla would feel uncomfortable. Even in his past life, Roderick had always been like this. He cared for Isla, but he was also cautious, lest his affection become a burden to her. The comparison itself was embarrassing to Roderick, but it was actually a comparison to that beast that reached out and touched Isla's hair without warning. He reached out and grabbed his father's hand, which was frozen in midair. Then, pulling it carefully, he placed it on his head. Thank you, Isla. Roderick, deeply moved by his daughter's actions, caressed her head carefully. The soft touch was pleasant, but the sensation also made his nose tingle. The lost and irrecoverable years seemed to weigh on his heart. And Isla closed her eyes and felt the warm hands of her biological father. It was a soft and kind touch. He was filled with affection, not for another person, but for herself. No matter how much Isla loved her mother, becoming her mother's substitute was no easy task. Especially if it came from another man's obsession with Ophelia. The carriage passed through the garden and stopped in front of the mansion. Isla took a deep breath. If you get off this carriage, you will be able to see your mother. Roderick, who got out of the carriage first, extended his hand to Isla with a slightly nervous expression. She took his hand and took a step out of the carriage. Isla. And there, with a determined expression, was Ophelia, waiting for her daughter. Along with numerous servants who sincerely welcomed his return. Of course, there were not only happy faces, and Laura, who I didn't particularly want to see, was also present. But it wasn't a big enough problem to interrupt a sweet reunion with his mother. Ophelia approached her daughter with trembling steps, as if she had just gotten out of the carriage. It didn't seem real. Isla was right in front of her. He wondered if it was a dream, if when he reached out his hand it vanished like a mirage. Suddenly, he felt afraid. Ophelia felt tears of overflowing joy fill her eyes, but she resisted. He wanted to show only his best face in front of his daughter, whom he had not seen in 12 years. She smiled brightly and opened her arms, as if telling Isla to hurry up and run into her mother's arms. And Isla jumped into his arms without a moment's hesitation. How much he missed his mother, her warm hug. Ophelia's arms smelled wonderful. It was like the scent of fragrant flowers, or like the sweet scent of candy. As if etched in her memory long ago, its scent stimulated Isla's sense of smell, giving her a feeling of relief and happiness. Ah, now it's back. I'm happy, so happy I can't believe it. Strangely, his eyes were getting hot. And Isla, instead of holding back her tears, simply let them flow. Welcome back, Isla. It's so nice to be back. Ophelia hugged her daughter even tighter as she burst into tears. He had to contain it, he tried to contain it. In the end, a tear ran down his face. Mother, I missed you. I really, really missed you. Isla hugged her mother tightly around the waist and poured out her true feelings, word for word. How long have I been waiting for this moment? Although he still wanted to take revenge on Byron, he wanted to fully enjoy this moment. Me too, my daughter. I missed you so much. Did Isla know? What kind of hell did the mother who lost her daughter endure during those years? Ophelia felt like she could finally breathe, like her heart was finally beating again. The image of the mother and daughter hugging and shedding tears brought tears to the eyes of those who saw them. Except Laura, the only one who didn't fit into that atmosphere. Why the hell are you doing that? Laura frowned, pretending to wipe her tears with a tissue. Of course, it wasn't that he didn't understand Ophelia. Naturally, a mother was happy to have found her lost daughter. What he couldn't understand was not the mother, but the daughter. It was natural that she was happy to be reunited with her biological mother, but the problem was that Isla must not know that she was the true daughter of that family. Is that acting? The Isla she knew didn't have the personality to act so convincingly. She was shy, indifferent, and a little clumsy to the point of being frustrating. He was talking about a person without a brain, who preferred to clumsily accept his mother's hug while hesitating. Whether Laura suspected that or not, mother and daughter were absorbed in sharing the joy of their reunion. Let's go in. It's cold. Roderick, who had been watching his wife and daughter from a distance, spoke in a low voice. He was worried that his loved ones would catch cold in the cold autumn wind. Oh, okay. Let's go in, Isla. I've been decorating your room in a hurry and I hope you like it. Ophelia took her daughter's hand and led her into the mansion. When they separated, the baby's hand, which had previously been as small as a maple leaf, had grown so large that it was indistinguishable from his own, which somehow caused him to feel sad. Isla's hands were covered in calluses, unusual for a child, and this made her heart ache even more, as it showed how difficult her life had been. This way, Isla. Ophelia didn't let go of Isla's hand the entire time she led her to her room. He was afraid that if he did, Isla would disappear again. Isla's room was in the same place as in her previous life. It was a room with a beautiful view of the Duke's garden. The interior was quite elaborate, despite being hastily decorated. Furniture and accessories that a girl would enjoy were placed everywhere. This time, the butler must have done it again. Isla looked at the butler, her gray hair neatly combed back. Maybe because it had been done by the same person, it didn't feel much different from his previous life. When did you get dressed like this, Ophelia? You must have been pressed for time. Did I do it? I just gave the instructions and Lester did it all. When Roderick, who was looking at the room from the door, asked in a slightly surprised voice, Ophelia, still holding Isla's hand tightly, gave the ball to the butler. Lester, the old butler of the Weishafen family, bowed his head with a humble expression, saying that he had only done what he had to do. Oh, Isla. This is your butler, Lester. If you need anything in the future, just tell him. This is Lester Schaffner. Just give me your order, my lady. When Roderick introduced the butler, he smiled kindly, narrowing his wrinkled eyes. He was an old man who always brought him peace, just like in his past life. Do you like your room, Isla? Seeing that her daughter, who had been looking around, was silent, Ophelia impatiently took her hand and asked her. How could he not like it? This room was meticulously decorated by a veteran butler, filled with the owner's desire for a comfortable stay. I like it a lot, Mother. Yes, that's good. When Isla responded kindly, Ophelia finally seemed to feel relieved. Oh, by the way, I forgot to introduce you to Laura. This is Laura, your maid, who will attend to you from now on. Nice to meet you, miss. I'm Laura Spencer, your assistant. When Ophelia introduced Laura, as if she suddenly reminded her of her, Laura shamelessly grabbed her skirt and greeted her politely. Their behavior was natural, as if they were meeting each other for the first time. Seeing that absolutely disgusting sight, Isla awkwardly accepted his greeting, trying to suppress the disgust welling up in her. "Please take good care of me, Laura." After finishing her greetings with Laura, Ophelia opened her mouth with a very regretful voice. "Well then. I'd like to hear the details of what happened, but you must be tired from coming all this way, so I guess I should let you rest first." What kind of life had she lived with Byron all this time? Why was the woman he was with found in the mountains of Hersig's territory? What was the story of the couple who were said to have been murdered by bandits there? There were many things she wanted to ask, but Ophelia felt bad asking those questions to her daughter, who had come all day in an old carriage. So I might listen to the story later. They would have a lot of time left. Then rest a little. It was when Ophelia, who had just said hello, tried to let go of the hand she didn't want to let go of and was about to leave the room. "Hey, Mom, Dad." Isla carefully opened her mouth and called out to the couple.